I'm in love with this little slime ball so much, it's not even funny. Now, you can't physically hurt him because he's a god, but if you hurt his feelings, I promise you, it's not only God you'll have to fear.
Everybody like, hey, are you ready to go? Ready to go? Everybody like,
Alright, what is up y'all? Soul here and welcome back to my story mode. So today we're going to be talking a little bit about this brand new app. It's actually not brand new, it's about a month or so old now, but it's brand new to me. We're going to be talking about that time I got reincarnated as a slime, Isekai Memories. At least I believe that's the full title. Go ahead and correct me if I'm wrong, but it is a relatively newer app that did come out within the last month, and you know, I love the anime to death. I love isekais. Isekai is probably one of my favorite genres. The whole, if you don't know what an isekai is, it's basically main character somehow gets slain or killed or hit by truck-kun or something like that and gets sent to an alternate realm or a different reality of some kind. They get sent to, usually under normal circumstances, some kind of fantasy world, and they get it's certain circumstances that causes them to be some kind of hero within that world. Sometimes they don't end up as a hero, but for the most part, you get what the idea is. Main character dies in the regular world that we know, and they get sent to a different one. Okay, cool. So, long story short, if you haven't seen it yet, please do. That time I got reincarnated as a slime is so good, it's so cute, it's so funny, it's so action-packed, it's fire. It's fire. And it's getting a movie soon? Man, within the next, like, probably 2 years or something like that. Who knows? Probably before the next season, good lord. But that's okay. I'm gonna be right there, front seat, up front and center, bro. Can't wait for the movie. So, long story short, I love this anime to death. It's definitely my favorite isekai and probably in my top 10 of anime of all time. I just love it. But then again, I feel like I say that for a lot, but I love that time I got reincarnated as slime. I've literally watched the anime twice already. So, no debate. So, finding out that there was some kind of game on it, game of any kind, I was like, okay, I'm picking that up immediately. So, wasted no time, got my hands on it, and wow. Now, for starters, when I first took a look at it on the App Store, I wasn't even home. I was just like out. I'm like, oh yeah, this game came out, didn't it? Because I was looking through the App Store and I saw the animations. I'm like, wait a minute. Why does it look so fire? Why does it look so high quality? That doesn't make no sense. And so that day I downloaded it. And now I spend like damn near every waking moment on this damn game. I spend a lot of time on this game. It's almost alarming, to be completely honest with you. I love it. I really do. Like, here's my thing. I have not been hooked on an app like this since Kingdom Hearts Unchained, or Kingdom Hearts UX, whatever you want to call it. And that game's been over for about a year now, give or take. Maybe less. A little less. I think it ended last November. Oh, it is November. I don't know. It's been done for a long time now, though. And so, you know, other like apps and RPGs and things like that, I've kind of gotten into, fallen off of. I even tried Fate Go. I still play it every now and again, but I don't play it like hard or anything like that because Fate's confusing. Fate is very confusing. So, me personally, I'm very on and off when it comes to apps. I usually don't spend as much time on them as I used to. Like my OG like RPG go-to app was Kingdom Hearts UX because I'm a Kingdom Hearts fanboy. What can I say? But Isekai Memories, I did not think I was gonna get as hooked as I was because I'm hella invested right now. Hella. I'm actually out here grinding for stuff. I'm trying to get the magic crystal so I can summon again. It hasn't been like this in a long time, and I feel sick because I love this freaking game so much. So naturally, I like a game and I want to talk about it. So I've compiled a couple likes and dislikes, and maybe it'll shape your opinion on maybe picking the game up and things like that. Maybe you'll want to hear me talk about it a little more. I'm definitely down to do more rambling about the game on the channel, talk about maybe some updates that are coming, maybe some harder challenges, maybe things you should and shouldn't do, which I think is probably going to come after this. We'll see what happens, but I've compiled my likes and my dislikes, and I really want to talk about my feelings toward this app right now because it has completely overhauled my life since starting it. So that's what we're gonna do right now. So first things first, obviously we're gonna go ahead and cover all of my likes, okay? I like to talk about the goods before the bads. Sometimes on rare occasions I like to get the bad stuff out of the way first, but I think it's good to start on a high note for the most part. So let's go ahead and do just that and talk about my likes so far. So for starters, obviously you could see what's on your screen right now. This game is actually just in general very pretty to look at. Okay, the character models look phenomenal. The animations are absolutely top notch. Okay, I didn't expect this game to be so high quality. Like, you normally look at those apps that they show you in the ads and things like that, and you're like, oh my god, they make the trailers and stuff look so pretty and so cool, whatever, and it turns out to be some dookie. No, this game holds up. Well, I will say there are some lazy moments. I'll talk about my dislikes actually now that I mention it. There are some things that I'm kind of iffy about in certain situations when it comes to certain animations, but for the most part everything looks phenomenal. Like, it's easy on the eyes. It really is, especially during battles. I just love watching them do their thing. They go up and attack or whatever. They do a special combo. They do their rush combo. They do their ultimates. Their ultimates are so pretty to look at. Okay. And I can't get enough of it. I just love the animations in this game. Like, even with speed up, like, it doesn't speed it up that much, but it still it speeds it up enough to where I'm satisfied with the speed and I still get to see all of the really well done animations, okay? Now, I may be gushing a little bit much about the animations. I'm sure there are plenty of other apps that do it just like this, possibly even better. I have no doubt in my mind. However, you gotta keep in mind, like I said, I come from Kingdom Hearts UX, and anybody that knows that game knows for a fact that the animations in that game were lazy as hell. It was just reused animations for every medal. I can't explain that to somebody that hasn't played it. Like, just look up some gameplay from back in the day, you'll see what I'm talking about. There's probably plenty on YouTube, but you can't play the game anymore. Thank God. You don't want to lose your mind if you're trying to get into Kingdom Hearts, like, seriously, and you want to get that story. But I'm coming from somebody that had very lazy animations in their game. It looked very, very plain and simple, and it was just rehashed animations. It was super, super lazy for a game like that. And so seeing it like this, I'm like, oh wow, every single character that we get introduced to has their own unique animation, has their own unique style, has their own unique typing. Everything about them is completely unique, completely original. And it's great. There's also, you know, it's also in 3D, like 3D models. And everything in UX was 2D. So, you know, again, you see where I'm coming from, which is why it's very easy for me to gush about something like this. Hope you don't blame me too much, but yeah, I'm just saying. Very easy for me to look at. Okay? The next thing that I'm really I'm shocked about, I'm very, I'm glad that there's an original, unique story, okay? There's a completely, in amongst, they were clever about it. Like, not only did they decide to recap the story and utilize that, and also they reutilized every enemy that we fought so far, remade them into battle and everything. Super sick, by the way. But there's an original story as well. Like, it's a whole different side situation that's kind of embedding itself in the midst of the story that we know now. Like, this thing happens, this thing happens. Oh, there's this little maybe canon, non-canon situation that's right here in between this downtime that you may not have noticed happened because, you know, certain situations call for it. And I love it. I'm really enjoying that little story so far. Like, I went back to make sure, once I saw, original story, I'm like, oh shoot, I need to go back and find all of those so I can pay attention to this little story, because I already know Rimuru's, story. Rimuru, however you pronounce it, Rimuru. I already know his story. Like I said, I watched it twice. I'm probably gonna read it too because I really want to catch up on the light novel as well. But I know his story through and through, which is why, you know, I'm always skipping through the recap stuff. You know, I already know that story. I just watched it recently, but seeing the original story is very interesting and entertaining, and it comes with its own characters, its own unique story, their own styles, and you know, the characters are really well designed and everything too. And I'm looking forward to meeting them more. You know, the only one that we've really, besides like the little, I don't want to spoil too much. They designed some very specific characters and redesigned some very specific characters for certain situations within the story that makes it work, and it's really cool. I'm just going to say it like that. I'm not going to spoil too much for anybody that's not far enough in the story yet. I think it's sick. And you can see these characters right on the front cover, like, of the game and everything like that. They're right there, alright? So, long story short, can't wait to see more of the pink slime that is somehow related to Rimuru. Not gonna say much else. Just can't wait to see more. Okay. So that's one thing that I very much enjoy. Another thing is the summon rates, or rather just summoning in general, right? So, like I said, maybe this is another thing of me coming from Kingdom Hearts UX. Maybe if you're coming from like another gacha style situation, maybe this is nothing for you. But for me personally, I like it when your summons aren't a complete waste of time. It's funny that I say summon rates because you'll see me summon most likely in this video here. I summoned 3 times. I didn't get diddly squat. Besides Ramaris? I don't remember how to pronounce the little fairy's name. That was the best thing I got from my summons. But either way, it's good that it doesn't feel like summons are a complete waste of time, because every character actually has some kind of use for something. You can actually utilize them for something, whether it be for support, for specific typings, because maybe, you know, you have a very underleveled light character that you need for, or rather, let's say you have a light character and they need a support. Sure, you could use a fully powered, like, fire type instead of a light type, but if you use a typing of the same type, their support bonus is a lot more. And so, you know, if I summon a light unit or extras of a light unit, I could strengthen that you know, regular 3-star one or 4-star one or whatever, and get it stronger so that I can also get that support bonus for having the same typing. And so, you know, it's just nice. It's really cool to see that every character has their use, and you can get a multitude of those characters and make those 2 or 3 stars a lot stronger. Is there 2-star? I don't think we've gotten any 2 stars. But it's just nice to know, like, yeah, you can strengthen these other characters and actually utilize them in battle for something, if the time comes. You know, maybe you want to make a team of all wind, a team of all dark, a team of all light, a team of all space, a team of all water, something like that. All of these characters are super viable, and the more you summon, the stronger you can possibly make them. Now, somebody mentioned on, I think it was Reddit or something, where you have to get a pretty absurd amount of the characters. You have to summon a pretty absurd amount of characters to actually level them up, which is, it's a little crazy, but at the same time, I understand. Because if we were summoning constantly, because we're going to be constantly summoning, all we're doing is getting a bunch of currency every time we play the game, we're going to be summoning all day, all night. So if we were to get, you know, enough, like plenty of those same characters, level them up, max them out, we'd be through with these characters in no time. We'd be overpowered really fast. And it's like, on one hand, it's like, okay, it's a little ridiculous, but on the other hand, it's like, okay, I get it. Because maybe one day down the line, a couple months in, I'll be like, oh shoot, I can make Alice a 5 or 6 star now. I don't know if it's going to take months to make her a 5-star. I don't think so. But eventually I'll be able to raise her rank, essentially. And once I do, she'll be even more valuable than she was before. And Alice is apparently, of the weaker units, actually very usable. Apparently her stun ability is very useful. Keep that in mind. Y'all, don't throw away your Alice's now. I don't even know if you could. I don't think you can do that. But you know, make sure you utilize your characters. Pay attention to the ones that need to be awakened. They might have some unique abilities that you can utilize on some hard ass bosses down the line. Just pay attention to what you're doing. Okay, so that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. So honestly, I just really like that for summoning, you are able to help utilize other characters. Like, yeah, I may not have gotten anything for this summon, but hey, I got a lot of these other characters that I can actually power up a little bit, and maybe I could throw them onto the team if they are strong enough as supports or whatever else. Other characters are very viable. So it's just good to know that eventually all of these bottom characters will be tough as bricks. Until they start adding a plethora of characters, then I will truly be screwed and pissed. So, we'll see what happens, won't we? But that's my take on things, okay? And then finally, I guess this kind of applies to what I said last, but 5 stars, they don't have to mean anything, okay? Now, yes, generally speaking, 5 stars are just generally better than others. However, again, some characters can just have way better abilities than others, you know? Like I said, Alice, very useful for that little stun move that she has to utilize on bosses. Apparently, Diablo's not even all that crazy in the long run in the meta. He's okay, he's good, he's usable, he can hit, but, you know, overall, he's just kind of a fun 5-star to have. And that's cool, we take that. But there's way better 5 stars, and there's possibly even better 4 stars for you to utilize and turn into 5 stars and make stronger. Just saying, man. So it's fun. It's fun. It really makes it can make your team very unique. You can have your wild team of just this typing, this typing, this typing, this typing, and then whatever, or you could have one typing for one boss, one specific boss, which is probably recommended. I need to mess around with that, but I don't feel like I have enough characters to really, like, you know, take advantage of that yet. Maybe down the line when I have more 5 stars and more 4 stars that have evolved a little bit more, gotten a little bit stronger, then we'll talk. But for now, I like to be wild with it. I like to be a little bit of a wild ghost, you know what I'm saying? So that's just me. That's just me. So now we're gonna go ahead and move on to my dislikes. And my dislikes are barely dislikes. They're more like, okay, this is a thing, but whatever, I could look past it, you know? It's nothing that's like, what the hell? You know, it's nothing that ruins the game for me or anything like that. It's just like, things that I've noticed that are kind of like, okay. And the first thing that's kind of like, okay, what, like, the one thing that made me go like, ugh, was the fact that it was a whole town, it was a town builder situation, or what's the word? A civilization builder, which is, you know, you think of like, oh God, Clash of Clans. You think of even more recently Cookie Run and stuff like that, you know? And at first I was like, oh Jesus, okay, whatever. But at the same time I was like, but wait, this is very perfect for this series. This is very reminiscent of everything that we know about the series. If you know that time I got reincarnated as a slime side, it's a very hard word to say. If you know the series, you know that the whole thing about Rimuru is that he gathers people. You know, people like to surround Rimuru. He's just a natural little leader in a way. People just kind of flock to him, or at least monsters and different races just kind of end up flocking to him because he's so nice and he's very reasonable. You know, he's just like, okay, there's a better way that we can handle this. How about you help me, in exchange I help you, yada yada yada. Let's build a life together here. Okay, we don't need to be like this, you know? Why don't we live in peace? Because why not, you know? This power doesn't need to mean anything. And so he builds civilization with all these different races of monsters and things like that. Monsters that have been discriminated against just because they look different, you know? And that's what's nice about Rimuru, is that, you know, that's his whole thing. And you know, you get to really experience that in this game too, you know? You're getting to know all these characters again, you're getting to know all these different races again, and you're helping build homes for them, you're helping build real civilization, you know? You're building, like, food stands for them, and different houses, and you're building farms and training grounds and things like that for the warriors. You're doing a lot, and so it really shows. it was just, at first, it did seem a little, it's very typical, because that's just kind of how all games seem to work at this point. It's just very common, you know? This is the one thing from UX that I didn't come with, you know? We never had anything like that. We didn't have like, oh, build your little town, whatever. No, we just focused on strengthening our medals and battling through the story or whatever, you know? It was battle summon, battle summon, battle summon, which is probably why it got so repetitive. But we also had PvP, but we don't talk about that. We don't even have that for this game yet. But maybe we will. Maybe we will. I don't know. But it was just a moment. But at the same time, it's grown on me. I'm very, obviously, you could probably see within the gameplay at some points, I'm very invested in that already. I'm already working on it. Also, to note, I'm probably going to mention this in editing too. This is my second account that I'm utilizing for this. My first account, it's way crazier than what you're seeing on your screen right now. Way crazier. I'll show you guys that account probably within the next video or so when we're talking about a couple of other topics regarding this game. But for now, yeah, just know this is my second account. And again, that just goes to show how obsessed I am with this game. But anyway, let's focus back on my quote-unquote dislikes, okay? So the next thing as a part of my dislikes is the fact that it's really, really easy to miss the original story that's in the game. And it's kind of like, again, it's another just thing that's annoying. It's just like, oh, I wish I didn't, now I gotta go back and rebattle just to see the story. It's like, that's really annoying, you know? I'm kind of hoping that eventually they make it so that, or maybe there is a way, maybe I just haven't checked yet. If there is a way, please feel free to tell me. I haven't checked yet. Maybe I'll figure it out by the time this video is up. I wanted a way to just look at strictly the original stories, like list it so that I could just see the original story stuff and just go through that. And if I can just watch the cutscenes, that would be even better. But as of right now, all I know is I'd have to go back through every chapter and make sure I didn't miss original story. Thank God it's plastered right there on the mission so that it's a little bit harder to miss when you do actually look for it. But when you're not looking for it, when you're just pressing next, 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 it's super easy to miss, and that really sucks because I was not sure for a while there if I was actually like skipping like a lot of original stories. So that one, so playing through my second account here, I guess it kind of did end up being relevant that this is the second account. Playing through my second account here, I was actually able to pay attention to the story and, you know, make sure that, you know, I didn't miss anything. I probably did skip some original story there, but it's because I had already seen it recently from my other original account. So it's just, here's to hoping that eventually they add some kind of movie feature so I could just watch the cutscenes individually if I wanted to, or focus on the original story if I wanted to, or just organize it in a way where I could see just the original story. Because as of right now, flying through the story, it's very, very, very easy to miss. And thankfully right now, because it's still early in the game, there's only 10 chapters. So when you go through, you'll probably come across, just go through it. It's not too much to look through right now. It's only 10 chapters. But when we start getting into the late game, like up to the second season stuff, I'm not gonna say much, that's when it's gonna be a problem. That's when it's gonna be a problem. But whatever the case may be, hopefully they set that up. But it's not too much of a gripe. Just, you know, don't make it so easy for me to miss that. Because again, I watched it recently, so I'm skipping all of this. All of this other stuff is like recap to me. You know, if I'm gonna be reading it, I may as well actually read the light novel. So that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. And then my final gripe. My final gripe is how hard everything gets super fast. Like, oh my goodness, you get introduced to all these different, like you get introduced to normal, to beginner, normal, expert mode. They, oh my god, those kick your ass early on. They do not make those easy. And the thing about that is the fact that, especially early on, your entire situation, your entire thing is trying to max out your town's population. You want to get as much your main goal is to get as much of your population up as possible, because the more population you have, the more access you have to everything. The more access you have to everything, the stronger you can get. The stronger you can get, the easier it is to level up your units and take on some hard ass bosses and levels and things like that. And then the more you do that, the better the rewards you get. The better rewards you get, the better you can upgrade your stuff, and vice versa. It's a whole system. But at the top, at the very tippy top, the king is getting your population, and that can max out really fast, and that can become a little bit of a struggle sometimes, which is why it's like, y'all gotta ease up on some of these required levels. For these levels, man, it gets crazy early on. All right, and that's the whole point, is that you need normal missions and expert missions to be able to unlock certain situations, to improve on certain buildings, or even develop certain buildings. And so it's frustrating, because it's just like, damn it, I need more population right now, but this mission is crazy hard. Like, it gets crazy hard crazy fast, so you feel really inclined to fly through the story. But for me personally, my struggle with the second account was that I wanted to make sure to do everything I could before progressing too far into the story, but without flying through the story first, which also gets hard in of itself. Even a beginner, by the way, it becomes a problem. So it's just like, all right, okay, if you say so, big buddy, if you say so. So all I'm saying is, it does become quite a struggle kind of fast if you don't know what you're doing. Me personally, on my first account, I was running rampant through that story, so I had no idea what was coming next, and I wasn't focusing properly like I should have on building up my units and building up my population like I should have. I got it figured out now. Everything's way more organized and looking a lot better. I'm done with the story, so I literally have to focus on everything else on my main account anyway. So tis what tis, but just saying, for newcomers, that might be kind of crazy and maybe a little bit of a turnoff if it gets that hard that fast. Okay, gotchas are already a bitch. Like, your main thing is, I want to play this game, I want to fight, I want to get some currency, I want to summon for good characters, and I want to use those characters. Or maybe you just want to summon for your favorite characters. But if it gets that hard that fast, it may get dropped that hard that fast. That's all I'm saying. So that just about does it for my dislikes. The other thing that I was gonna mention from earlier was originally the animations for like the summoning and stuff like that. Like, but I realized that I'm like, no, those are original animations. They don't look too bad. They look good. So either way, unimportant, irrelevant completely. So my final thoughts here. Simply put, I'm down to talk more about this game because I've been playing it so much that I may as well. You know, I'm down to do I wanted to do this entire week and just talk about this game as much as possible because I'm going to be on this game the entire week. May as well talk about whatever updates and stuff that they give. I'm not really great at tips and tricks right now because I'm still understanding the meta. I'm still trying to understand everything. I will read up on as much as I can. Maybe I can give you guys some pointers on what characters are good to summon for, or maybe what to save your currency for, or just what to focus on in general while waiting for your next banner or something like that. So maybe some kind of advice videos that are very simple but not like too meta heavy, you know what I mean? So I guess we'll get to that when we get to that. Maybe if you guys want to talk about it in the comment section, let me know. I'm super down to talk more about this though. I'm totally game. Maybe you guys can educate me on things. Not opposed, but we'll see what happens. But either way, so I'm gonna leave it at that. I've got another video very similar to this one, just talking about like beginner stuff coming up most likely a day or so after this one. So if you're looking forward to something like that, maybe consider subscribing and sticking around because I got a lot to talk about. You just heard me for the last half hour. I can ramble. We got a lot to talk about when it comes to Isekai Memories, but we'll talk about what we talk about. But either way, that's going to go ahead and do it for this one, so I'm going to go ahead and skedaddle on out of here. I would like to thank you guys ever so much for watching. I truly do hope you enjoyed. Do me the greatest favor of dropping a like and a comment, and consider subscribing for more content just like this. And with that, I'm going to get up out of here. Thanks again, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll be seeing you guys in the next video. Do me the greatest favor of taking good ass care, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!